Hey folks, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for another Facebook Live with Yes Employment. My name is Cindy Tibbles. I work in the Youth Job Connection program as a employment consultant, and I'll be discussing with you for the next 30 minutes or so the topic of how to impress your employer. So let's just dive in. All right, first impressions. So it only takes approximately 1 minute, some say as little as 30 seconds, to make a first impression. So while I'd like to hope that people set these judgments aside and remain open-minded, the truth is, once these judgments are made, once they're formed, it's very, very powerful and it's hard to reverse. It takes approximately 8 subsequent positive encounters to change a bad first impression. So I hope that resonates with you how important a first impression is. You never get a second chance to make a great first impression. So I'm going to share some tips with you on how to make a great first impression. So as we just learned, people make these sweeping judgments and inferences from mostly nonverbal communication. So 93% of our communication is nonverbal. So that's our body language, our tone, our intonation, so how we say things. And these judgments that people make can predict really meaningful outcomes for us. So whether we get that job, whether we keep our job, whether we get a promotion. So if you are starting a new job, you have many occasions to make a great first impression because you're going to be meeting a lot of people. So you're going to get a lot of practice with this. And nobody's perfect, but I'm hoping that some of these tips will be helpful. So if we think about our body language, you want to keep an open and confident body language. So be aware of your posture. So you don't want to be hunched over or have a sloppy posture. You don't want to be stiff either. You want to be upright and, open chest, shoulders back, but you also, it's a balancing act, right? You also want to show that you're listening, you're actively listening, so you want to lean in as well. But if you are actively listening, your body will naturally, give off this body language. So, you will nod and smile and, have some affirming actions that you are listening. And making eye contact is one way to show that you are engaged, that you care about what the person is saying. So be aware of your body language. In tying into body language, so if we look at the idea of your pitch and your tone of voice, a high-pitched tone of voice can make you seem childish or even nervous. So especially if you tend to uptalk like I just did, you use a rising inflection at the end of your sentence, people can perceive you to be less knowledgeable no matter what you're saying. So it's something to be mindful of. With your body language, over time we develop these soothing techniques, these self-soothing like ways to cope with a stressful or uncomfortable situation. And so when we're nervous, we might do these things like fidgeting, or maybe you drum your fingers or rub your face. Myself personally, I tend to constantly adjust my glasses, or I'll play with my hair when I'm feeling nervous. So just be mindful of that, because the impression you might be giving off is that in fact you are nervous or maybe even irritated. So if 93% of our communication is nonverbal, then 7% of it is through our words. So very little, but that means that your words should be chosen wisely. So if we're thinking about words, if they matter so much, we want to use positive and persuasive words. So that the person you're speaking with will feel comfortable in your presence, and therefore they're going to be more willing to work with you. And that's what you want, right? Put some thought into your appearance. So, whether you personally care about, fashion or style, it doesn't matter what your like, you don't need to high end fashion or, be on trend, but you have to be neat and tidy. And regardless if you care about your appearance, it does matter. People do make judgments based on your appearance, and you want to remain professional in your presentation. So, practice proper hygiene, and also sense sensitivity. So, odorless. Um, you don't want to be wearing any strong perfumes or cologne, because people can have, really bad allergy. They can get migraines from strong scents. And all workplaces now, they have like a 0 scent policy. It shows, that you're considerate of others and respectful of others. We said make eye contact, come prepared. So do your research. So for example, if it's an interview and, to make a great first impression in an interview, you want to be prepared. So you research the company, things like that. But for your first day of work, come prepared in that, have everything you need to do the job. So if it's a uniform, if it's safety gear, and maybe, have a lunch so that, you eat and you can be your best self. Don't try to be someone you're not. So if you don't know something, don't fake it. Lean into your weaknesses. If you don't know something, ask questions. Don't lie, and it's going to show that you have you're self-aware. But you also, again, it's a balancing act. You don't want to overemphasize your shortcomings either. So, it's a tricky balance, but certainly, don't fake it. Be honest. Be authentic. So overall, what you're trying to create here for yourself is a professional image. So I want to break down what is professionalism and how do you model professionalism in the workplace. So professionalism is committing to showing respect and consideration for others, keeping your word, demonstrating loyalty, and exceeding expectations. So essentially, honor your commitments, do what you say you're going to do, and get your job done. And when you can, go above and beyond. So I'd like to break this down a little bit more. Like, what exactly does it look like? So what specific behaviors do I do to model professionalism? So I've got a list of do's and don'ts here. So do make it a priority to be on time. If you are late, it gives the impression that you don't care about your job. And if it affects others, which very likely it will, it's saying that you don't value their time and that you're not respectful of them. So you want to be someone who is dependable and reliable. Dress appropriately. So we discussed that a little bit. Your appearance should always be neat and clean. And remember the scent sensitivity as well. Watch your mouth. So, no swearing, cursing, cussing. That has no place in the workplace. If you're someone who tends, when you get really upset or really passionate, and you tend to use cuss words, maybe you want to just find some strategies like, taking a deep breath, or maybe you need to walk away. But certainly it has no place in the workplace. Aid your colleagues. So if you notice a colleague who seems particularly overburdened, they're facing a particular challenge, and something that can help, like you have a particular skill set that they don't have, or that you just think they could use an extra hand, offer your assistance. That is professionalism. If And to do that also, you have to be aware of what is going on in the workplace, right? What projects are happening? What are the different roles that people have, so that you can offer support when you think it's needed. But also, if someone refuses your help, don't push it. Respect that. Maybe they like to work alone. That's a preference. But certainly offer your assistance if you think that you can help. Try to stay positive. So, we talked about choosing our words wisely. You want to have, positive and persuasive words and phrases. But also, your overall, attitude should be positive. Negativity is very contagious. And if you are, constantly complaining about your workplace, about your colleagues, or life in general, it's going to bring others down. And you'll notice like people will tend to avoid you. You don't want to be that person. And certainly an employer will not appreciate a drop in morale. And if you are the reason for it, that's not good. So try to stay positive. We all have bad days, of course, but overall, try to have a positive attitude. Take initiative. So don't wait to be asked to do something. If you're not busy, find something to do. That goes into that idea of going above and beyond, exceeding expectations, right? So in our don't category here, we have don't be a grump. So that goes with a little bit with the try to stay positive. So we all have bad days, we aren't always feeling our best, but we have to remember to try not to take it out on our boss or our coworkers, and especially our customers, right? Don't gossip. This is a really bad look. You come off as childish and immature. You're going to have difficulty building trust as well if you're constantly gossiping, because people will wonder, what is that? What are they saying about me behind my back, right? So it's a bad look. Don't gossip. And if you walk in and people are gossiping, just walk away. Find someone else to talk to, or change the subject. Don't participate. Don't hide from your mistakes. So everybody makes mistakes. Own up to it. Do your best to correct them. Don't blame others. This is how we learn, right, from our mistakes. It shows your employer that you're able to grow and learn from them. It shows great character, that you can own up to them and be accountable. Don't lie. Dishonesty always makes you look bad. Be upfront. If you don't know something, just say so. Ask. It's always going to come back to you if you do lie. Don't air your dirty laundry. So, this idea that, we don't want our personal lives to impact our work lives. It's inevitable. Some days it bleeds in, but you want to try and not have your personal life needlessly have an impact on your job. Don't spend too much time attending to your personal matters on work time. Again, it goes into the gossip and having a positive attitude. You don't want to be someone who's creating problems. You want to be a problem solver, right? So don't bring problems to the workplace when possible. We're human. Okay, and finally, I wanted to share some tips on a summary and overall tips on how to impress your employer. So almost like a recap here. So be on time for work and for meetings, right? That dependability, reliability, that's who you want to be. That's how you're going to impress your employer. When you're starting a new work at a new workplace, a new job, there's a steep learning curve, right? We're all having to learn new skills, our new role, new responsibilities. So try to find a buddy or like a mentor to learn from and find your way around. You'll likely, naturally gravitate towards someone. And if you could find someone who is, has experience, that will be a lot of help for you. And that way you don't have to, go necessarily towards your immediate supervisor. You can problem solve on your own, and through your new network, right? So through a possible mentor or a buddy. Give credit to those who help you. So shine light on your team members. Be supportive, right? Be that team player. Give credit when credit is due, right? Work diligently on your communication skills. This is something that you should always be working on. Whether it's like presentations or your interpersonal skills, writing skills, your listening skills, building relationships. This is a huge, huge, huge asset to have. Is if you have strong communication skills, it's going to help you in any job. It's required for all jobs, regardless what you're doing. And it's a great way to impress your employer. Again, dress neat and tidy, neat and clean, no scents. Customers are number one, so try to understand what their needs are and work towards meeting them. So no matter where you work, there's always a customer. So whether it's a client, whether, if you're actually working in customer service, every employer has a customer, right? So find out what their needs are and work towards meeting them. This applies to your supervisor as well. So know what their needs are and work towards them. So what do they need from you? What are they trying to accomplish? How can you help them achieve those goals? And that will go into, showing initiative and being proactive. So how can you help your employer, your supervisor, your coworkers, your customers? Always thinking, how can I be of help to others? How can I be of service to my team? And finally, I'd say take the time to get to know your peers. So, join into the social atmosphere in your work. You don't have to be friends with all your colleagues, but you also want to participate. So if your place of work is participating in community activities, maybe there's volunteer opportunities. Maybe it's joining social media account, your employer's social media account, and participate there. Find a way to participate, and that's the going above and beyond, but also showing that you care about the work that is being done. So that was it that I had for you folks this afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. We do have a survey that we would appreciate you completing. It's short. It won't take you very long. It's helpful for us to get your feedback on how we can improve these Facebook Live sessions in the future. We want to hear from you. We want your feedback. And certainly reach out to us anytime. We're always here to help. We look forward to working with you. Have a